Our BRINK race team started because some of our local rippers were looking for support, and those local rippers turned into the best riders in the country, and one of them, in fact, is the best rider in the country. He probably will be a bit more modest about that, but I don't need to be. He is the best in the country, and his name's George Madley. Him and his brother Luke both ride for us, and we've got his bike here today to talk about his bike, his setup. So here he is, young George Madley. I say young, you are now
15.
15.
Yeah.
First year youth?
First year youth, going into second year next year.
Cleaned up at Nationals, the fastest rider in youth. And that's first year youth, so that's quite a big difference. When you're talking about the younger categories, juveniles, youth, the first year of any category is always such a disadvantage because they're younger, smaller, not as big as some of the big guys. So winning youth in the first year and overall is a massive achievement. So here's his bike. This is his BRINK race team bike for this year. Do you want to talk us through it? What is it?
This is my Santa Cruz V10 with the mullet setup, so the 29-inch wheel on the front and the 27.5 on the back.
This is the first year you ran mullet, wasn't it?
So the first year on a mullet, yeah.
So you had a V10 last year, which was a 650B. And went up a size,
yeah, up to medium.
To medium and mullet this year. So what's the difference?
Oh, it's so much better to help carrying speed, and I've just kind of outgrown that bike and it's a bit big on it.
What do you think you noticed the most from changing bike? Was it the size or the wheel size?
I think the wheel size just helps to get over the holes a bit easier.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. What else? What suspension have we got on there?
Got the Fox 40 on the front, and then the Fox DHX2 on the back.
Cool.
70 psi in the forks, and I think a 450 spring.
Cool. Do you know your clickers?
Not a clue.
Both George and Luke, well, all our race team really, have had their settings done by Plush. Some of the guys know their exact clicks, some of the guys don't. Have you changed it since you had it set up?
No.
Do you change it for each track, or do you just leave it as you know?
Just ride it as I know it, and it's pretty good once it's been set up.
Yeah. Would you say it's on the fast side of things, the slow side of things?
I'd say probably fairly slow to some of the other riders that I've felt. So
let's have a feel. Okay, so it's still fairly responsive at the front. Yeah, it's certainly not. I wouldn't say it's slow.
It's not overly fast.
But it's not overly fast. Some riders kind of have it so fast it almost tops out, doesn't it? What drivetrain and brakes have you got? Because it looks like you've got like a mishmash setup here.
Yeah, so we've got the XCR brakes and just the lead feel and just works green, so a bit better than the SRAM.
Yeah.
And then we've got the SRAM drivetrain.
Because this bike started out as an X01, didn't it? X01 build kit. Yeah. And the bits that you wanted to change straight away was the brakes. Yeah. And that's because you were used to them off the previous bike. All your bikes have had Shimano, right?
Yeah, and especially with find smaller hands, the lever feel of the XCR lever is just so much nicer.
Yeah. And you changed from last year, Saints, didn't you, to FCR this year?
Yeah.
What did you notice the difference between them? Did you notice a power difference, or?
Maybe slightly power. I just find the lever feel from the same to the XCR. The XCR is much nicer. Cool.
And so wheels-wise, we've got aluminium wheels.
Aluminium wheels which are race face with a cush core in the back. Only in the back. I've had that wheel all season and it's still pretty mint.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. So where have you raced this year? You've raced Glencoe? You've raced Fort Bill? Riola and Fort Bill?
Bala, yeah.
All the fast tracks, all the big hitting tracks, and you've still got the same wheel. That's pretty good. For any wheel, that is. Not just an aluminium wheel, but for any wheel to survive a race season. That's really good. So either you're super light on your bike, or the wheel's really strong, or cush core's doing its job and protecting the rim. Cool. So tyres wise, I can see you got DHRs on there now.
Yeah. Have
you changed throughout the year, or have you ran these the whole year?
Last year I had an Assegai on the front, but just went to a DHR front and back and had that all season, and it's been pretty perfect.
Okay, interesting. So our most popular combo is Assegai front, DHR rear.
Yeah.
What made you change to same tyre front and rear?
One of my mates, Jordan, had always said DHRs are the ones to go for, and since I've put it on, I haven't had a problem with it at all.
The name drop there, Jordan, is George's friend Jordan Williams, who you've You would have had fastest time of the day had it not been for Jordan at some of these races this
last
year, is that
two
right?
races of the Pierce ones, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, a youth rider, almost finishing fastest time of the day. In fact, really, it is fastest time of the day because Jordan's something else. He's pretty next level, isn't he? So that's pretty braggable. Okay, so we talked about tyres. What about tyre pressures?
Tyre pressures. A bit of a range, but nothing too, I would say, different. About 21, 22 in the front, and then about 23, 24 in the back with the push core. So I'd say it's fairly hard when with the push core, with still 24 in the back.
Right.
So
how heavy are you?
about 65 kilos.
65 kilos. So that's fair. That's quite firm pressures for your weight. Okay. Yeah, especially a 24 in the back with a cush core. I could run that pressure. Onto cockpit setup then. BRINK bars.
BRINK bars, I think a 20mm rise cut to 760, and they are carbon bars. Also with these sensors grips that I find really good for like small hands, especially when like they're like kind of soft as well, but like a nice bit of cushioning.
You've got these on every bike, haven't you?
Yeah.
I remember last year you had the same grips.
Every bike.
Yes, they're a very popular grip. If people have tried them and like them, then there's not a lot of grips out there that feel like this, are there?
Yeah.
Clips, and clips all year round.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I would never tend to put necessarily flats on in a wet race. Just find you can control the bike a bit better with the clip pedals and.
Cool.
Work well.
And you use clips on your trail bike as well, don't you? Literally clips everywhere.
On most bikes, yeah.
Yeah. You got DYEDBRO protection on there as well.
Side grip protection. Yeah.
DYEDBRO protection. What's that one? Stay free right.
Yeah.
This is just protecting all the frame. So you got coil shock on the back. Have you ever tested an air shock?
No, just coil straight out the box onto the bike.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
I just think how supple it is off the top. Just the small bump sensitivity. Also how well it ramps up. But just off the top, how smooth it feels is just so nice.
Yeah, super. Do you know what do you notice about this V10 to the last one?
Overall,
is it the size difference? Is it the front wheel difference? Is the suspension difference?
If I had to pick one, probably just how the front wheel helps, and just the bike being bigger just helps you like get over stuff and carry a bit more speed throughout the track.
Yeah, a bit more stable in the holes in the corners. Yeah. So we've heard about the bike. We've talked about George. Let's see them both in action. Let's get out to the tracks.